Welcome. You're listening to the GrowOrtho Podcast presented by Hip Creative. This podcast is dedicated to those who want to stand strong in their market and be leaders in their community.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Harrison Bagdan. I am the Senior Practice Advisor over here at Hip Creative. Super excited to be with you guys. Really looking forward to doing my best to add some value to you guys and to serve you guys. Let's just kind of hop right into it. The title of today's training is Converting New Patient Opportunities in the 21st Century. And the reason I wanted to make this training is because as a growth partner, I hear this kind of story pretty frequently. We've tried marketing, we've tried digital marketing, Facebook, Google, etc., but we get a lot of bad leads. We get a lot of no-shows. We get a lot of people who don't see the value in our services. I don't know if anybody's experienced this or heard this before. I've tried working with a marketing company and I just didn't really get any production, or I couldn't see what happened from it. Got a bunch of bad leads. Hear this a lot, but if there was one focus for today, especially in the medical world, right, there's the symptom and then there's the root cause. And when it comes to marketing in the 21st century, the symptom is bad leads and no-shows. But the root cause of that is the journey. The root cause of that is the follow-up. The root cause of that is the nurture system that's in place to actually take this interested stranger and turn them into a new patient and create a new relationship. So over here at HIP, we've been doing this a long time. We're coming up on 7 years now. We work exclusively with medical practices, private practice medical practices. And at this point, 90% of all of our partners are orthodontists. In that time, guys, we have managed millions of dollars worth of advertising spend on every platform you could imagine. From Facebook to Instagram to Google to Bing, to places that you guys may have not even know patients exist. But the point being is we've done this for a lot of time. We've spent a tremendous amount of money hyper-focused on one thing. And we've spent all this advertising money hyper-focused on how do we put people and new patients in the chair at your office, right? It's not like in this past 7 years we've been working with restaurants and car dealerships and all this kind of crazy stuff. It's been hyper-focused on serving people like you. And I think you'd agree that if you do something long enough, you start to see patterns, right? Malcolm Gladwell talks about the 10,000 hour rule. If you do something long enough, you've mastered it. And if you do something long enough, you start to see patterns emerge. And it's kind of similar to orthodontics. I have a feeling if I came and sat in the chair with you, and said I wanted my smile and my teeth fixed up, if I came and sat in the chair with you, you could probably get me figured out in 5 minutes, 10 minutes with a quick scan, right? Why? Because there's patterns to it. And when it comes to practice growth, there's patterns to it. And so while many of our partners continually see this incredible success, 300%, 400% return on their investment, doubling their practice in a year, we have stories on stories and stories of partners of ours that we've helped do that. But if you know anything about us here at HIP, we're extremely transparent and we're always looking for that next 1% that we can build a framework around. And so while many people were and are and continually knock it out of the park, the truth, fact, and reality is that not everybody that worked with HIP was seeing this kind of amazing success from the same exact opportunities from digital leads. And so for us over the past year, a little over a year now, it's really been an obsession for us to figure out why there was such a discrepancy in the success. Because over here, we're busting our butt for everybody. We want to knock it out of the park for everybody. We're a small team of 12, family-owned business. We want to serve everybody at the highest level. And so we're busting butt for everybody, but it got to a point about a year ago where there was a steep discrepancy in the results and the success. And what ended up happening is it got to a point where like clockwork, guys, 10% of our partners were making 90% of the revenue. Now, nothing in this world is 100%. You account for variable in everything. Not every set of braces goes exactly as planned. Why? Because there's variables outside of our control, right? You could tell me as your patient to wear my rubber bands, but you can't fly to my house and pick my hands up and stick the darn things in my mouth. That's a variable that we can't control that's going to affect results. And it's the same thing in practice growth. And so for us, naturally, we really wanted to figure out why that was. What was that X factor? What was that variable that was in the way and creating such a discrepancy in results? And it's kind of three-part as to why that is. And I think first and foremost, where we want to start here, guys, is the philosophy. Somebody once told me, they said, Harrison, success is 80% your mindset. It's only 20% the physical mechanics. What does that mean? There's the mindset and there's the mechanics. I also like to say there's the tactical and there's the strategical. And the tactical or the mechanics, this is the easiest part, guys. The tactical is you moving teeth. The tactical is us creating marketing assets. That's the tactical. We're both very good at that. That's why we both got into our professions, because we're passionate and we're good at those tactical things. Where we started to see the X factor and the drop-off was in the mindset. And the practices that were spinning and, still spin their wheels a little bit, they were stuck in a prehistoric mindset. And the ones that are growing had created a new mindset to help serve us in the 21st century. There's this guy, I'm not sure if you've heard of him. He's pretty smart, smarter than I'll ever be, Albert Einstein. But he says that we cannot solve problems with the same level of thinking we used when we created them. So beyond any of the tactical strategies that I'm going to give you guys here today, just remember that the tactical, the mechanics, this is only 20% of the equation. 80% of the equation, if we really want to grow, is you as the owner, as the doctor, as the leader, have to have a shift in mindset. Just as important, if not more importantly, the team has to have a shift in mindset. But it starts with you, Doc. You're the top. Speed of the leader, speed of the team. So before we get into the tactical, I just wanted to take a couple minutes and really stress the importance that if any of these tactical strategies are going to have a massive impact, it starts here. It starts with the mindset. And if we've been doing things one way, we may have to make some tweaks and change the way we think about them if we want to go to the next level. So there's the philosophy behind it. 80% of this is how we think about it. So tactically, how do we build a predictable new patient acquisition machine? Well, like we said earlier, if you do something long enough, you start to see patterns to it. And so over the past 7 years, what we've identified through all the data that we really need to have in place in order to build a predictable new patient acquisition machine is first and foremost, we have to have a blueprint. We have to have a true system. I know that you guys have some rock stars on your team. We have some rock stars on our team too. But there's a saying that somebody once told me, and they said, people, no matter how good they are, people in and of themselves are not duplicatable, but systems are. People are not duplicatable, but systems are. Even if Sally is a rock star at the front desk and we want to grow and we're going to need to add another front desk, well, we can't replicate Sally. But what we can do is we can build a system around what Sally's really good at so we can plug somebody into that system. So that's really important. We need a system. That's what duplicates. That's what grows. Now, if we're going to be putting in a system, we got to have some training. We could be a rock star, but there's a saying that says you just don't know what you don't know. I'm trying to get better at golf. I put a bunch of time into it. I'm still not that good. So what do I need to do? I need to get some lessons so I can get the knowledge and the training so I can implement the system better. So you got to have a system. We got to have the knowledge and the training to implement the system. But I think most importantly, what we need is we need a system where we set up real accountability to make sure the system's being followed by the team. And we need a system of transparency where we can lifetime see what is actually going on. So if there was one slide that I really would like you guys to take away, it would be this slide. Maybe take a picture of this or screenshot it or something like that. But as we started our case study, trying to figure out what that variable was between the 10% and the 90%, we came across this case study that was done by the Harvard Business Review. And so this study from the Harvard Business Review took a look at digital leads, form submission leads from Google, from Facebook. And by form submission lead, I mean somebody who put in their information in the form and raised their hand and said, yes, I'm interested, but did not pick up the phone and call you. Right? Somebody just picking up the phone and calling you saying, hey, I like you, I love you, I trust you. That's a traditional lead, as I would say. A digital lead is more of a form submission, and it's on us to follow up. Make sense? So this study took a batch of 10,000 digital form submission leads, 10,000 of them. And by the end of the study found that if we do not follow up with a new digital lead within 5 minutes, the likelihood of ever getting them in for an appointment, like an actual appointment in the office, that reduces by 400%. 400% if we don't follow up within 5 minutes. And so that's the first thing I would look at is any of these campaigns that you've tried online. I know that most of the time, common sense, we think that the leads are being followed up with. But what we do for our partners is we actually secret shop them twice a month just to make sure that, like I said, with accountability and transparency, just to make sure that these things are being done. And I can tell you guys, we've secret shopped almost 1,000 offices across the country, even before we may have partnered together. And I can tell you right now, and if you haven't done this, I'd implore you to go secret shop yourself. Go to your website, request an appointment, and see how long it takes to get a call back. And like I said, we've done this a lot of times, and I can tell you guys right now, and this is with tracked and timestamped data across the country, if I fill out a form on somebody's website and raise my hand on the website, fill out a form, don't call, 90% of offices will never call me back one time, ever. Why? It's not because Sally's not a rock star. It's because there was never a system and a process built to handle these colder digital leads. Everything was built to handle the inbound phone call and setting the appointment. So then what happens? Doctor wants to grow. They go try some new marketing stuff. The marketing people just put out the marketing stuff, and there was no adjustment of systems or processes to handle this different type of opportunity. So that's first and foremost is response time. We don't call them in 5 minutes, pretty much kiss it goodbye. The second part of the study is persistence. People are busy today, guys. And what the study found is that if we don't give at least 6 follow-up attempts, the likelihood reduces by another 70%. Why? Well, how many people work during the day? 9 to 5. Right? How many people are busy during the day at the office that can't pick up your phone call? A good amount of people? Of course. But at the same note, how many people could be at work, scrolling through their phone at their desk, and be able to click and request an appointment at work, and in their mind say, oh, I'll deal with this after work or first thing in the morning? I don't know about y'all. That's how I would do it. So this whole, we called them right away, left a voicemail and no other communication. If there's 6 hours by the time I've finished work or the next morning, 12 hours, etc., I've probably forgot. So we have to put ourselves, when it comes to the mindset, we have to put ourselves in that new patient's shoes. What could they be doing? Is there a chance they might be working? Maybe I'll just try back first thing in the morning. But as far as building a good foundation, this is probably the most important thing to take away. I'd implore you to secret shop your office. I'd implore you to see where that looks and maybe share this training with them. But that's first and foremost is what we call speed to lead. Okay? As important as this is, could there be something even more important than speed to lead? Could there be something more important than a good follow-up? And there is. And we call it the 72-hour rule. And we live in a time now where consumers want everything now. Luke in Finger, the founder here, he tells a funny story from like a month ago where he switched his whole family from AT&T to Verizon because Verizon could get him the new iPhone quicker. People want things now. So when somebody calls us, fills out a form, opts into an ad, requests an appointment on the website, etc., besides following up quickly and besides following up persistently, the absolute best thing that we can do to get them and convert them into a new patient is get them in the office as soon as possible. Think about it like this. If we know it could take 3 or 4 or 5 calls to get somebody on the phone for their appointment, right? That's a little bit more effort, a little bit more elbow grease than like a traditional dentist referral, right? So if we know it's going to take a little bit more elbow grease to get them in, obviously we want to get them in as soon as possible. 1, because we put all this energy into it, but 2, that's just the world we live in now. If I call your office and I say, hey, I'm a new patient, when can I come in for my exam? And they tell me 2 weeks, what am I going to do? I'm going to say, okay, put me down for that. But most likely what I'm going to do is I'm going to call around to your competitors or call around to other places in the area and see if that 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks, see if that's standard in the area or if somebody can see me sooner. Now, if somebody can see me tomorrow or the next day, I'm probably going to go there. And do you think I'm going to pick up the phone and call you back and say, hey, sorry, cancel that appointment? Most likely not. So what does that turn into? Turns into a no-show. And that's probably more frustrating than anything. I love this quote. A mentor of mine, he said that small hinges can swing big doors. And it's so true. I never thought about it like that. Literally, these little tiny hinges can swing these huge doors. So relatable to this, really just a simple shift, a small shift in the language from the scheduling coordinators can have a huge impact. If the scheduling coordinators have bought into this mindset of good follow-up, persistent follow-up, and just a simple shift in their language instead of, so when would you like to come in? A simple shift of, so when would you like to come in tomorrow? Oh, you can't come in tomorrow? Not a problem. When would you like to come in this week? Leading them down that path. Simple shift in language could have huge results. And so what I want to show you guys here is kind of a case study of an office that the front desk and the team really bought into this mindset, and then kind of the other side. This is a partner we were working with, not a huge, massive operation, just a single location, single provider. But after 3 months of working together, with the scheduling coordinators really buying into the mindset and following the 72-hour rule, in 3 months, 44 new patient starts just from Facebook ads, just from the Facebook ads. That's the coldest type of traffic you can produce. This is before we got into Google and some of the warmer traffic sources. Not too shabby, huh? So that was after 3 months, 44 new patient starts. Now, very transparent here on the other side of the coin, what happens, what could happen when we don't follow this rule. And after 3 months, there was only 4 new patient starts in the pipeline. You know, it's not getting us excited. If it's not getting us excited, I'm sure it's not getting the doctor excited. But I just show you this to really see the 2 sides of the coin. Where I would implore you guys to take your focus is to look at what we call the patient journey experience as a whole. Think about this as the patient journey from 30,000 feet above. 20 years ago, and traditional marketing was very simple. I'd hang a sign outside my door and say I'm a doctor and attract some people. They would call the office, and then we'd go ahead and get them on in the office and start treatment. But when we get into the 21st century world of marketing, of advertising or pay-per-click, etc., once we put the attraction out, there's a few more steps that need to happen in the journey to actually get them to start treatment. Now, if we want to create a real concierge experience, or like the Ritz-Carlton experience, as I would say, we have to have a system around these intermediate steps, right? If I request a room at the Ritz-Carlton, are they calling me back 3 days later? No, they're probably calling me back before I even press enter. So it's not that these things take a lot of time, but if there's not a real clear system around them, there's going to be a breakdown somewhere in the patient journey. And again, the symptom is going to be no-shows or quote unquote bad leads. So we really have to make sure we're building the system around the entire patient journey experience. It's not just about putting out marketing to attract people, and it's not just about being good clinically. What is going on here? What's the nurture like? What's that connection building like, right? So I just wanted to leave you guys with this. We're kind of wrapping up here, but I wanted to just kind of give you best follow-up practices. And take this for what it's worth, but as the senior practice advisor here at HIP, if you kind of think about my role, I'm kind of like the front desk and the TC at HIP Creative. I field, along with my associate Justin, but field the new inquiries of people that have raised their hand looking for help, and then I put together the treatment plan. So I'm kind of doing all day this stuff that we were just going through. And I think you'd agree that getting a hold of an orthodontist in the middle of the day, getting a hold of a doctor in the middle of the day, that's no easy task. You guys are busy. So I just kind of wanted to share with you like the practice and the process that I use, and that the system that I've been able to plug my associate Justin into here so you can mimic it. But as soon as a new opportunity comes in, it doesn't matter where it comes from, the Facebook, a Facebook ad, your website, etc. Here's the process. Like we said, we got to call them in under 5 minutes. Even if they don't answer, we have to call them and make a connection. If they don't answer, we leave a voicemail, and then I'm going to send some sort of connection text and or email right away. So I call, I leave a voicemail. Like they don't answer, I'm going to send a text bringing that voicemail to life, putting a voice to the name, a message to the name, to the voice. You see what I'm saying? So if I call, I leave a voicemail, the text will say something like, "Hey there, Johnny, this is Harrison. That was me who just left you a voicemail. I saw here you had taken some time and requested a free exam with the doctor. I just wanted to shoot you a text so you know that you can call me, text me, whatever's best for you. We'll make sure to follow up with you over the next few days. Hope you're having a great day. Happy Thursday to you," right? So now if they listen to the voicemail and they see the text, this is a real person. So day one, call in under 5 minutes, leave a voicemail, send a connection text and an email. Day two, give them a phone call, leave another voicemail, but be strategic about it. Don't leave the same robotic voicemail. Connect it to yesterday. "Hey there, Johnny. This is Harrison. I tried giving you a call, shooting you a text yesterday. I'm sure you're busy. Just wanted to reach out, make sure everything is okay so we can help serve you." Call, leave a voicemail, send a text again. Again, be strategic with the text. You don't need to send the whole, "Hey, this is Harrison from HIP. Just wanted to check in." It's just, "Hey there, Johnny. It's Harrison. I just tried leaving you a voicemail again. Wanted to help get you in for that appointment. Hope all is okay. ... Send. Emoji. Send. Be creative with it. How would you want to feel? It's an experience. And then day three, same thing. Call, leave a voicemail, send a text. Guys, after 3 days of this, if you get no response, I'm on your team. We can go ahead and deem that as a bad opportunity or not interested. But where the disconnect happens most of the time is that there's no common denominator. There's no common denominator for what constitutes a bad lead and what constitutes somebody who's just not ready, right? If we just call them, they don't answer, "Oh, this is a bad lead." Call them, don't answer, "Oh, this is a bad opportunity." Never going to find anybody online. But if we have a process and it's accountable and it's transparent and we have a common denominator for what determines a bad opportunity, it's going to be much easier and much more efficient to scale. So after all that, what really is the number one factor determining your success with cold traffic or with digital ads? Like at this point, is it really possible that all internet leads are bad opportunities? Is that really a possibility? Tried Facebook ads with 5 companies and you got hundreds of people that have clicked. They're all bad. Is that really a possibility? Or could it possibly just be that there might be some antiquated systems in place on how we get people in the office and how we expect our mindset on how we expect people to come into the office? Because if we've been around for 20 years and the expectation is that people call us and come in and get started, and now we have competitors that are a bit more aggressive on their advertising, could it be that the systems might be a little antiquated? And here's what I want to leave you guys with. You got to understand that these people on Facebook and Instagram that have no-showed you or didn't pick up your call, These people on Facebook, guys, these are the same people that live amongst us in our communities. There's no secret fantasy Facebook world where all these bad leads hang out just to waste your time and make your life miserable. It's the same people that live amongst us. But people are busy, and consumer behavior today is different than it was 10 or 15 years ago. Is it that the platforms have a secret pot of magical bad leads? Or is it that their behavior is different than what we're used to, and we may need to make some tweaks in the system? I'd implore you to think about that. I think we all know, or I hope, if I've done my job, that we see that the real X factor is the sales process. Tactically, it's very simple to put ads up. Strategically, through that patient journey experience, there's a few more things that need to be in place and dialed in. So we have spoken to elite practice owners across the country, elite practice owners, some of the top consultants in the world, and we even wrote a book about it. So I obviously want to always leave you guys with value. I hope this was helpful. I hope you got something out of it. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the next call.
Thanks for listening. If you'd like to learn more about improving your healthcare marketing, day-to-day operations, and standing strong in your market, send us an email at hello@hipcreativeinc.com. That's hello@hipcreativeinc.com. Or jump over to our website at hip.agency.